I'm at the GoPro booth here at Photokina, and what I wanted to do is have a look in a bit more detail at the new manual modes and the control that you have if you're a professional user or a more experienced user over the new Hero 5. So, Take it away.
All right, so one of the great new features of the Hero 5 is full manual control over ISO and shutter. So you will have control over your shutter speed and multiples of the frame rate that you have the video resolution set up to.
And can you show people exactly what controls you have?
Sure. So if we go into settings and you go into Pro Tune, you now have the ability to go into manual shutter. So you can choose 1/25th, 1/50th, because I'm on PAL.
And does it switch according to the frame rate that you're on? Or
it does, yes. So if you're on a different frame rate, it'll be multiples of that frame rate specifically. You also have ISO mode now, so we've added the locking ability to lock ISO instead of just maximum or minimum. You can lock into that base ISO, or whatever ISO you choose if you're shooting in low light situations.
And do those settings work at all frame rates? Do they work in the high speed frame rates as well?
They do. Yes. Yes,
so
they
obviously you can't have a shutter speed lower than the frame.
You can't have a shutter speed lower than the frame rate, but you can lock the ISO and you can lock the shutter speed at high frame rates.
I mean, I think it's the one thing that professional users have been crying out for since the GoPro was first launched, and now you've finally given it to us, but not just on this camera, right?
That's right. We've put it into the 5, but not only do we put it in the 5, in the latest firmware update for the Hero4 Black, and I believe also silver, but now I've said it on camera, so I guess it's true. You have all this ability built right into the Hero4 Black as well.
Okay, and then in terms of controlling it from the camera itself, what can you do? If you don't have the app, can you set any of these things just on the back?
Absolutely, you can do all this through the menu system on the back of the camera, in addition to on the app.
Okay, auto exposure. Now you've done some clever stuff with that as well. Like, what can you do now?
So auto exposure, you can now select the region that you want to expose to directly on the back of the screen, and it'll expose to that area that you've touched. So that'll give you a lot.
And how exactly, can you show us how you do that?
Sure. So basically you bring up the preview, you do a long press on the screen, and then that brings up your selectable region, and then it'll hold that area. So if I select there and then follow him, it'll continue exposing on your subject.
Okay, great. Other things, gammas, Pro Tune, have you changed anything in that from the 4? I mean, it's the same sensor as the 4, right? So in theory, not too much difference?
That is an excellent question. I don't believe I can speak to that at the level of detail right now that I would want to. But it is based on the same sensor. We have released that information. The image processor has been greatly improved, so we're getting a lot better speed. We are getting raw photo now out of the sensor as well, which is a nice improvement in the Hero 5.
You've added all of that to the Hero 4 and now the 5. What about the Session? Does this get manual exposure too?
It does, actually. So the manual exposure control we've added into the Hero5 Session.
Okay. So you've also changed audio. There's
Correct.
3 mics?
So there's now 3 microphones on the camera, and what that does is it will sample from all 3 sources and then produce the best possible stereo track.
Okay.
And you have some level of control of how much processing you're applying to that audio track as well.
But it still has the mic jack in the side, or not?
It does as well, yes. You can still expand out through the USB-C, and you'll be able to do a microphone in. In addition to that, the new Remo accessory, it will also act as an audio track, so you can speak into the remote control, and it'll send the audio track into the camera.
And then, talking of ins and outs, HDMI. Now that's a good one for professionals. What have you done there?
So we do now have 4K out of HDMI. I believe it is, and again, I apologize off the top of my head, I believe it is 422 8-bit, possibly 420 8-bit, but it is an 8-bit 4K signal out of HDMI.
Which again, will be a very welcome addition for many broadcast and professional types. So one other question that people are asking is, with this new camera, how about mounting filters, optional accessories? What have you done about that?
So what's really neat is we've actually, now that it's waterproof without a case, obviously the most sensitive part is going to be the glass here in the front. So what you can do is you can actually just pull and twist and pop that off if you were to break it. And then of course, if accessories are made in this form factor, you'll just be able to pop it right back on, filters, whatever.
So I suspect there'll be several third-party accessories right here at the makers here at the show looking at that going, right, we're going to make lenses, filters, such like.
We certainly hope so.
So thank you very much. It's been very, very useful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate being here.